Welcome into beautiful Veterans Field on what's an even more gorgeous night here in Chatham, Massachusetts, where the Hyannis Harbor Hawks are set to square off against the Chatham Anglers for the second time this season. For the second time in less than a week, Hyannis makes their way out to Veterans Field, and they'll square off against the Anglers tonight. Chatham being anchored by their starting pitcher, Cody Bradford, the sophomore out of Baylor, who comes off a magnificent season. 2.51 ERA in 14 starts, 96 and 2/3 innings pitched. And in just a couple of days, he's set to head off to Team USA. His time in the Cape likely coming to a close in this final week, in just week 2 of this Cape Cod League summer, to go and play a couple of tournaments with Team USA, along with fellow Chatham teammate Spencer Torkelson. 11 RBIs, 4 home runs on this young summer, leading the Chatham Anglers in both those categories. On the other side for the Harbor Hawks tonight, they'll counter with right-hander Houston Roth out of Ole Miss, who in his first start in the Cape League season went 4 innings out at Lowell Park against the Cotuit Kettleers, going 4 innings pitched, 3 hits, just an earned run, and what was the Harbor Hawks' second win of the season, first on the road. This pregame show, brought to you by the Beach House Grill at Chatham Bars Inn Resort and Spa, is the perfect spot for a seaside lunch or evening clam bake, a proud member of leading hotels of the world. And the Harbor Hawks' first meeting with the Anglers this season didn't quite go in their favor. Out here at Veterans Field, they dropped that game by a final score of 10-1. The Anglers jumped on them early with 3 long balls off the bats of Spencer Torkelson, Blake Sable, and Kyle McCann out of Georgia Tech for what was a 3-run shot out to right center field. To take you back and relive that first game, we have a few highlights for you from last week's contest between the Harbor Hawks and the Anglers. 2 ball games, the Hyannis Harbor Hawks have been soaring, to say the least. They've won their last 2 contests over the Harwich Mariners and Cotuit Kettleers, and now look to start their first official winning streak of the season as they made their way out to gorgeous Veterans Field tonight to square off against the Chatham Anglers. That pitch, that is torched. Deep left field, back at the wall is Paul, and forget about it. That ball's history. Spencer Torkelson with a long ball here in the bottom of the first, and the Chatham A's quickly up 1-0 here on Hyannis. The Todd Lott is a high fly ball into the gap in right center field, and it'll get down. Torkelson can't get there. Scoring from second is Seth Gray, and just like that, Todd Lott has knotted this game up at 1-1 in the top of the second inning. Pulled out to deep right center field, giving chase his barefoot, and he watches it fly. 3-run shot for Kyle McCann, and the Chatham A's have broken it open here in the second. They lead 4-1.
Strike 3 called, got him looking, and that will do it here from Veterans Park. Chatham wins 10-1.
Those are the highlights from last game between the Harbor Hawks and the Anglers. Travis Marr got the start in that one for Hyannis. Didn't last too long in that one, after Chatham put up 4 in the first, followed by another pair in the second and 3 in the third. All their runs coming in the first third of that ball game, while Hyannis put up just 1. They look to turn that around tonight with the offense. And starting for, as we mentioned, the starters for tonight, Houston Roth for Hyannis out of Ole Miss, and Cody Bradford for the Anglers out of Baylor. Quickly, the starting lineups for tonight: Matthew Barefoot leading off, playing center for Hyannis, followed by Trevor Hauber in right, Como at second, Davis Wenzel at short, Seth Gray at third, Rivera in left, Pedro Pages at first base for the second time this year. Brady Lindsley out of Oklahoma making his debut on the Cape tonight. He'll be in the designated hitter slot, and rounding out the 9, Clemson catcher Kyle Wilkie. On the other side for the Chatham A's, Greg Jones out of UNC Wilmington. He's been a stud, to say the least, out in this young Cape season, followed by John Rabe, Torkelson, Blake Sable, who was one of the 3 home runs in the first game against the Harbor Hawks, Colin Simpson out of Oklahoma State in the 5-hole, followed by Drew Mendoza out of Florida State, Ben Ramirez, Kyle McCann, and Austin Wilhite, rounding out the 9. First pitch just 20 minutes away here at Veterans Field, and we'll have more for you on this postgame show coming up right after this here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
musicelf.com. 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 musicelf.com.
Welcome back into the Hyannis Harbor Hawks pregame show. I'm your host, Lyle Goldstein. This evening, we're just under 20 minutes away from first pitch at Veterans Field between the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and the Chatham Anglers for the second time this season, as the Harbor Hawks travel to Veterans for the second time in less than a week. Quickly, some around the league scores and updates before we get you to this game. Bourne up 2-1 on the Wareham Gatemen over at Doran Park. A Western Division matchup in the top of the second inning. That game so far highlighted by an Andrew Vaughn single, a Chase Murray home run, and a Jared Triolo RBI base knock. While the Cotuit Kettleers and the YD Red Sox deadlocked at 1 through 6 innings, Cotuit starter Griffin McClarty out of College of Charleston, a familiar face to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks who got the start in Lowell Park in the first matchup between Cotuit and Hyannis, has thrown 5 innings, a 1-run ball tonight against the YD Red Sox, as they're currently in a tie at Red Wilson Field. Falmouth and Harwich just kicking off at White House. That game at 0-0 in the top of the first. The Brewster Whitecaps travel to Eldridge Park to play the Orleans Firebirds. That game set to kick off at 7 p.m., much like the one here at Veterans Field tonight. Orleans on a little bit of a skid here, sitting at 2-6 on the year, last place in the Eastern Division, countering with Kenyon Yovan, the right-hander out of Oregon, one of the most dominant relievers in the Pac-12 this season. And, of course, here at Veterans Field, Chatham and Hyannis set to square off. Quickly, a couple players to watch from each side in this upcoming game. For the Harbor Hawks, you have to look right to Wright State third baseman Seth Gray, who has just been off to a torrid start through the first 8 games of this season, hitting .389 up to this point, 7 for 18 to start the year, a double and 3 RBIs. He has been scorching hot, 3 hits last night, along with Matthew Barefoot hitting .333 on the year. He's 6 for 18, a home run and 4 RBIs, has also walked 3 times. The outfielder from Campbell University, who had just an absolutely tremendous season in 2018, stealing 33 bases, 8 home runs, hitting over .360 after a freshman All-American selection in his freshman year, makes his way out to the Cape for the first time this summer, and he has been more than hot in the early going. Now looking over to the Chatham side this evening, Spencer Torkelson, as we've mentioned just a couple times through this pregame show as well as last game, has 4 home runs and 11 RBIs. Those 4 long balls are tied for a Cape Cod league, but he'll likely be surpassed sooner rather than later, as his time on the Cape likely coming to a close as well, going out to Team USA in just a matter of days. The other man you have to look for tonight for the Chatham Anglers, Cody Bradford, the Team USA selection as well, left-hander out of Baylor University, 2.91 ERA in his sophomore year, through 4 innings in his first start on the Cape against the Brewster Whitecaps, where he gave up just 2 hits, no runs, struck out 6, and only allowed 1 free pass. Game shaping up to be a good one here tonight. Chatham sitting at 5-3-1 on the young season. Hyannis dropping its last 2, now down to 4-4, where they find themselves 4th place in the West Division. Chatham, meanwhile, sitting atop the Eastern Division with Harwich trailing by just half a game. We'll take another quick break here on the post-game show, and when we come back, I'll talk to first half play-by-play man Robert Marcello about the upcoming game and then get you set for the first pitch here at Veterans Field. You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks pregame show here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Welcome back into the Hyannis Harbor Hawks pregame show. I'm your host, Lyle Goldstein, being joined alongside now by Robert Marcello, one of our three members of the broadcast team. And Rob, let's just get off to it with a start. Houston Roth in his first outing on the Cape League season, Friday night against the Cotuit Kettleers. He went 4 innings in that one, gave up just 1 earned run on 3 hits. Really kind of found his groove. His pitch sequence was working for him. He had those Cotuit Kettleer hitters off balance. But here's a Chatham Anglers team that sits atop the Eastern Division. Their lineup is loaded 1 through 9. What does he have to do to repeat that success and silence this Chatham lineup?
I think to do just the same, being able to get ahead of counts, have his pitchers really have good command. One thing that we saw the last time we were here is the pitchers really didn't have good command, and they made them pay.
Hyannis has been culprit to a handful of walks over the last couple of games, especially in the early going, not being able to find the strike zone. But now, Rob, looking back to last night's game as well as a preview into this game, a 10-1 loss for the Harbor Hawks back last Saturday against the Anglers. How do they turn that around and get out of the offensive slump they've also been in the last 2 games and put some runs against this tough Chatham team and a very, very valiant left-handed pitcher in Cody Bradford?
I think to get to a good pitcher, you have to get to them early. I think as soon as they start getting settled in the game, I think they start getting better. So being able to get ahead of counts early, being able to get guys on early and being able to score early is a key for the Harbor Hawks if they want to win tonight.
Hyannis has also really struggled to really minimize that big inning. Those innings in the early going especially have hurt them. We saw it with Nick McDonald twice in the 3rd inning in his 2 outings. Mike Mockma last Saturday with Travis Marr here at Chatham. And we'll see if they can turn that around today and really just keep the Anglers off the board, something they were not able to do, especially in the early going of last contest just 5 days ago. Rob, I thank you for joining me. I'll turn it over here to you and Chris Lucy in just a second. We'll keep you around the league. I'll be back in the 4th inning with some around the league updates tonight, as well as the post-game show right after the game, and Hawk Talk, our video post-game show that's posted on YouTube after every Hyannis Harbor Hawks ball game. For now, that'll do it for me on this pregame show. I'm your host, Lyle Goldstein. I thank you for joining us here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. We'll be back with first pitch and the play-by-play men of this game, Robert Marcello and Chris Lucy, in just a few minutes here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. copyright. Magic Works Media 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 copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voices of the Hawks, Lyle Goldstein and Chris Lucy.
Magic Works Media copyright.
Time for lineups and first pitch on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Good evening, everyone. It is Thursday night here in Chatham as the Harbor Hawks are heading off against the Chatham Anglers. I'm Rob Marcello. I'm joined by Chris Lucy. Chris, what are you expecting today out of the Harbor Hawks?
Well, the Harbor Hawks need to bounce back. They're on the back end of a 2-game losing streak right now and really had a tough one last night against Wareham. Gateman losing 9-0 to the Gateman down at Spillane Field. And then the game before, they gave up a 10 spot to the Katuitt Kettleers in a 10-4 loss. So where offense has come and gone for the Harbor Hawks, pitching really just has not been there all season long, as they right now rest in the bottom of the league with a 6.31 team ERA, coming against a Chatham squad with a 2.72 team ERA, good for second in the Cape League. So Hyannis really just needs to be able to pull it together on the mound, and with Houston Roth out there for the Harbor Hawks, you can expect a very, very solid start out of him. He's pitched a game already this season, 4 innings pitched, and 2.25 ERA on the Cape League season. He has 2 strikeouts. He pitches to contact. He'll work quickly and hopefully give Hyannis the boost it needs to have a bounce-back performance against the top team in the Eastern Division of the Cape.
Absolutely. The Harbor Hawks will get their first ups today on the road. Cody Bradford on the mound for Chatham.
And Bradford is amongst the best of the best on the Cape this summer. The Big 12 Pitcher of the Year in 2018, 7-6 record for the Bears out in Baylor. 2.51 ERA, 96 and 2/3 innings pitched, 87 strikeouts. He is a guy with multiple pitches too. He has a 4-seam fastball that can get up there, 2-seamer that runs quite well, a good slider, and he's working on a curveball as well. So he'll be able to keep the Harbor Hawks off balance. But if Houston Roth can find his zone as well, it'll be a pitcher's duel. And Hyannis will just have the onus on its offense to really carry it against a pitcher like they're facing today in Bradford.
Absolutely. And he'll be facing one of his teammates, Davis Wenzel, as he's in the lineup today for the Harbor Hawks.
Absolutely. He's batting in the 4th spot today. Barefoot, Hopper, and Como, the 1, 2, and 3 for the Harbor Hawks today.
As Chris said, Matthew Barefoot leading off for the Harbor Hawks today. Barefoot is batting .333 so far this season down in the Cape.
Elsewhere in the order, Seth Gray in the 5 spot, Eric Rivera in the 6 spot.
And the first pitch of the game is in, swing and a miss by Barefoot. And we're getting ready to start here in Chatham, a very good crowd on Thursday night. Down 1-0, and the count is Barefoot. The second pitch is in. Another swing and a miss by Barefoot. And he is down early.
Elsewhere in the lineup, Pedro Page is in the 7th spot, Brady Lindsley making his Cape League debut in the 8th spot out of Oklahoma, and Kyle Wilkie rounding out the 9.
Oh, pitch 0-2. A ball just inside low. 1-2 count. Coming into the game, Hyannis is 4-4, and Chatham is 5-3-1. One-two count to Barefoot. A ground ball to the second baseman. He grabs it, a great play, throws it on to first for the first out. For the first out.
Tip your cap to Will Height right there. What a play. Austin Will Height out of Georgia Tech, the sophomore, extending his glove side, making the grab, and then getting up in time to nail Matthew Barefoot for out number 1.
Right there, play for sure by Will Height. Now up to bat, Trevor Hover. First pitch of the bat into Harver. There's a ball just inside. 1-0 count.
You had Will Height over there at second, and Kyle McCann from Georgia Tech manning things over at first base.
Oh, pitch. That is a strike now. 1-1 count to Hover. Hover is batting .266 currently in the Cape. 1 home run, 3 RBIs. Oh, pitch. Ball just low. Now 2-1 to Hoffer.
Over at third base, you got Ben Ramirez, Blake Sable doing the catching. At shortstop, Greg Jones out of UNC Wilmington.
Oh, pitch. Foul ball for Hoffer. Now back to a 2-2 count. Evens it up for Bradford.
And going from left to right in the outfield, you have Colin Simpson in left field. In center field, John Rave. And in right field, another Arizona State Sun Devil, Spencer Torkelson.
2-2 count for Hoffer. Pitches in. Just gets a piece of that ball as it goes foul. It's one of the light posts here at Veterans Field in Chatham. Still 2-2 count. Pitch from Bradford is in. Just a foul ball there, foul tip on the back of the backstop. Hoffer surely protecting on a 2-2 count. Two-two count. Pitches in. Ground ball to Wilhite. He has it. He'll throw it on to first for the second out. Had to come in for the play. And 2 gone on the top of the first.
Hey, 1 to his right, 1 to his left, and Wilhite able to gobble up both grounders, and neither of them easy plays. The first one, pretty much a tailor-made base hit for Barefoot, which he stole. And then the other one could have been beaten out, but Trevor Hoffer unable to get there in time to beat the throw from Wilhite, which was a rocket going against his momentum, too.
Braden Como up the bat for the Harbor Hawks. Nobody on with 2 outs in the top of the first. First pitch is in, swing and a miss. The ball just out the zone. Como offers at it. 1-0 count.
Como made waves on team social media today with his performance last night.
Oh, pitch. That is a ground ball to the shortstop Jones. He has it. He'll throw it on the first. Just on a hop. Gets him for the third out. The Harbor Hawks go 1-2-3 in the top of the first. Chatham will be up in the bottom of the first. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
.com. Musicelf.com. 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 Musicelf.com.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voices of the Hawks, Chris Lucy and Robert Marcello.
Welcome back. We are here in the bottom of the first. Harbor Hawks will be on defense. Houston Roth on the mound for the Harbor Hawks. His ERA is 2.25. He pitched 4 innings and had 2 strikeouts.
Number 2, Greg.
Houston Roth's parents also up in attendance today, so all the more incentive to go out there and throw a great game. And Hyannis needs more of the same from Roth if they want to bounce back from what's been a tough stretch of games. 2 consecutive losses for Hyannis coming into tonight in Chatham.
Greg Jones up to bat. He made the last down the top of the first with a ground ball. Got it over there, but it was on a hop. A great stop by their first baseman. Oh, pitch. That's another ball high now. 2-0 count to Jones. Jones is batting .280, 2 home runs and 2 RBIs on the year. That is in for a strike. Now 2-1 count to Jones.
Also of note, Roth will need to be careful with where he puts his pitches. This man leads the team in walks as well, does Greg Jones.
That pitch is in for ball 3. It's now 3-1 count. 3-1 pitch. That is a infield fly ball. Here's Kyle will have it, but the first baseman comes over and gets it for the first out was Pedro Pages. 1 gone in the bottom of the first.
Now batting for Chatham, the center fielder.
Didn't hear a lot of chatter down the first base line from any of the Harbor Hawks, so not a good sign there. Hyannis needs to be communicating as Pedro Pages was able to come in and make the play, but almost collided with Houston Roth in snagging the ball.
John Rave up to bat for Chatham. 1 gone in the bottom of the first. First pitch in the bat is fouled for a ball as he tried to put a bunt down, unable to do so.
Rave off to a great start on the Cape League season. 17 at-bats, .353 batting average. About as good as you can get.
Also has 4 RBIs on the year. Oh, pitch. That is a foul ball. There, the first base coach for Chatham trying to make the play. It's off his hand. Down 0-2.
Dalen Monet not quite as nimble a foot as he was in his playing days, Robert.
0-2 pitch. Ball just low. Kyle Wilkie able to get it. Almost bounced in the dirt.
Yeah, Page is over there at first. Brendan Como at second. Davis Wenzel at short. And then Seth Gray down at third base.
1-2 pitch. That is just foul. Almost landed in the field of play, but just rolls off. Wilkie gets it, throws it back to Roth.
Cal Wilkie tonight's catcher. Eric Rivera from Florida Atlantic out in left field. Matthew Barefoot from Campbell University in center. And then Trevor Hauber rounding out the Harbor Hawks in the field in right.
1-2 pitch. That is a torching fly ball to center field, and that is gone. A 1-out home run puts Chatham up 1-0 in the bottom of the first.
A no-doubter off the bat of Rave there. That is the Chatham A's 4th home run of the season against the Harbor Hawks. They have absolutely feasted on Hyannis pitching. First of the season for Rave out here on the Cape. But Chatham getting the ball out of the yard early, and that's not what you want to see, as things can leave in a hurry if you get the A's off to a right foot, off on the right foot.
Spencer Torkelson up at the plate. 1 out. Bases are empty, and that is in for ball 1.
When you talk about a home run threat, nobody in this league arguably is as much of one as Spencer Torkelson.
It's in for a strike. 1-1. He leads the league in home runs with 4. Tied with Andrew Vaughn of Wareham.
Yeah, but he just buckled on that breaking pitch from Roth.
Pitches in. That is a launch to the shortstop. Wenzel unable to get it. And a 1-out single. As Torkelson standing up at first.
The catcher from the University of Southern California, number 21, Blake Sable.
Blake Sable up the bat for Chatham with a man on first with 1 out. Chatham already up 1-0 at home. Pitches in. That is a foul ball. Goes behind us. As we're just to the left of home plate past the stands. A pretty good view.
Blake Sable, a power hitting catcher. 4 homers in his college season, 2 already on the Cape.
Pitches again foul down the left field line. Pretty good crowd here at Veterans Field in Chatham, as they always do. Later in the season, we'll see everyone congregating out in the hill, out in right field. Ball just inside for a ball, and Torkelson is sliding into second base with a stolen base. There'll be a runner at second with 1 out in the bottom of the first. Chatham up 1-0.
Great jump right there from Torkelson. Got absolutely nothing from Wilkie behind home plate.
Sable calls time. Oh, pitch. That's a ball just in the dirt. Oh, a 2-2 count. And Wilkie and Roth are going to be meeting out of the pitcher's mound, but quickly goes back as Wilkie. Sable batting .285 on the year. Chris said already has 2 home runs in the year and 4 RBIs.
An OPS over 1. An excellent number. Mixes on-base and slugging percentage together, and it's just a very good composite statistic in measuring how effective a hitter truly is, outside of batting average, of course.
Roth steps off the bag. Goes back as Torkelson.
Sable of some major athletic pedigree, second cousins with Troy Polamalu, and also his brother, a seasoned professional veteran as well, played in the Mets system.
Pitches a ground ball to the first baseman. Page is unable to get it as he stumbles, but the runner did not advance from third to home, and there'll be a runner on the corners with 1 out in the bottom of the first.
Oklahoma State University, number 10, Colin Simpson.
Colin Simpson. Plate for Chatham. Runners on the corners, 1 out in the bottom of the first. Hyannis down 1-0 early. Retired early in the top of the first, 1, 2, 3. And Chatham has their bats ready.
That was a crucial mistake from the Harbor Hawks there, especially with Roth still reeling from the home run. He gets a quick out after that single. Maybe he can breathe a little bit, but now he has runners on the corners, and he needs to bear down.
Pitches in. That is a ground ball. Gets right through the first and second baseman. A run will score. It is now 2-0 Chatham. Runners on first and second. Still with 1 out.
Now batting for Chatham, the designated hitter from Florida State University, number 36, Drew Mendoza.
And here's someone you don't want to see either. Drew Mendoza, the Cape League veteran. They were able to poach him from the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox, but coming off of a great campaign for the Florida State Seminoles, a .313 batting average, 7 home runs. He has some real pop in his lumber.
And that was Simpson's first RBI of the season. Mendoza's 0 for 4 in the year. Does not have a hit yet, but a good opportunity with runners on first and second with 1 out. That is a foul ball.
Wow. That foul ball bouncing right in front of an unexpected spectator and going right over her left shoulder. Lucky her. Almost taken one. Always have to keep your head on a swivel out here, Rob.
Absolutely, you sure do. Especially here in Chatham. Oh, pitch. He steals a double steal, throws it down to second base, and he is safe. The runners advance. The second and third with one out. A close play at second. Wenzel not happy about it.
Well, that's just a well-executed double steal. Tom Holliday pushing all the right buttons down in the Chatham A's dugout. Advancing runners, really showing no mercy against the Harbor Hawks early on, already out front 2-0 in the bottom of the first, trying to pile it on and put the pressure on Houston Roth.
Low pitch swing and a miss by Mendoza.
And the real crucial thing about what we just saw there is now not only do we have 2 runners in scoring position for the A's, but there's no chance at a double play, as anything on the ground could have possibly doubled off the runner at first in Simpson and then caused Hyannis to get out of this inning with relatively less damage.
That is a ball just outside. Almost caught the edge of the plate. Roth with the pitch. That is a fly ball out to left field. Eric Rivera runs in and gets it. He does. The runner's going to come home. He throws, and that run will score. And a pass ball will advance the man on second, and there'll be a runner at third with 2 out. It is now 3-0 Chatham early in the bottom of the first.
That throw from Rivera really completely went off of its line, almost landing in the Chatham A's dugout. That one very, very much so gave Wilkie no chance at getting the runner at home and actually gave the runner at second base in Simpson the chance to advance to third.
First pitch is in. That is a bomb out to center field, but it is caught by the left fielder, Rivera. That was Ramirez at bat for Chatham. After one, the score is 3-0 Chatham. Here, Hyannis will be up in the top of the second. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's Voices of the Hawks, Rob Marcello.
Welcome back. We are here in the top of the second. Davis Wenzel will be leading off for the Harbor Hawks, down 3-0. Roth struggling in the first.
It was a tough inning for Roth, to say the least, but a little Baylor reunion going on here.
That is in for the ball. Talked about the top of the hour. Here it is a reunion between these two. Also, a pitcher for the Harbor Hawks is also on Baylor, but they will not be facing off each other. 1-0 count to Wenzel. Pitches in. And for a strike, 1-1 count.
Roth's defense in the first inning also not doing him any favor. 2 errors on the Harbor Hawks in the bottom half.
Oh, pitch, swing and a miss there by Wenzel. Now 1-2 count. Wenzel is down.
It's a double-edged sword when you face off against a teammate. You might know his pitches, but he also has a good idea of what you don't like either.
Oh, pitch. That is a ground ball to the second baseman. He makes another great stop by Wilhite, and for the first out in the top of the second.
3 or 4 outs made by the Chatham A's on this game coming from the leather of Wilhite. He's been all over. He's made plays in the hole over on the right side and then up the middle as well. He really has done it all for the A's and lightened the load on Bradford, who has the stuff to really carry himself at this point, but still taking all the help he can get from his defense.
Seth Gray up to bat for the Harbor Hawks. One of the power guys in the middle part of the order. He's batting .388.
He's co-player of the game last night as well. Had himself a great night, almost doubling his hit total on the season. 3 for 4 was the final line on him.
That was another ball low, just inside. Almost did his shoe tops. Pitches in. Another ball just low. If you're just joining us, you're on the Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Chatham is up 3-0. Pitches in. That is strike. Now 3-1. Count to Gray. Had the green light, thought it was going to be ball 4. Another swing and a miss by Gray. Now a full count, 3-2. He was up 3-0, taking the first pitch and swinging and missing at the second one.
Well, it's been a battle between these two.
Ball 4 in the dirt and a 1-out walk will plate the second runner of the day for Hyannis. Or sorry, the first runner of the day for Hyannis. Eric Rivera now up for the Harbor Hawks.
He's looking to find his way over the Mendoza line, 143 batting average and 21 at-bats on the season, but he's had a bit of the clutch factor for Hyannis as he was able to hit that walk-off home run in the first leg of the Brewster doubleheader, or the walk-off single, excuse me.
That was a clutch play by Rivera. He's also very good defensively. First pitch is inverse strike right down the heart of the plate.
Rivera does have a lot of range, but he didn't do the starter Roth any favors with that E7 that he had in the previous frame, a throw that just went way off the line and allowed a runner to advance to third.
That is a foul ball. Lands right near the playground, just to the first base side. Thus a little way out in Chatham.
Rivera airmailing a throw to home, which could have created problems for Hyannis, but Roth was able to get out of the inning with a fly ball right after.
Oh, pitch. That was a ball. Rivera looked like he was ready to go back to the dugout, but the home plate umpire gave him a second chance.
Sometimes that second chance is all you need just to get your head right and fight your way right back into an at-bat.
Pitches in for Rivera. He did not go. It's now 2-2. Count.
He knows he needs to defend the plate, but he can't be swinging at pitches that have spin or anywhere going away from the zone. So good hold up right there from Rivera. He almost went the way through.
Oh, pitch. That is a ground ball that will get through the middle. And there'll be runners on the corners with 1 out. Hyannis in business trying to cut down this 3-run lead.
How about the jump off of first base for Davis Wenzel? That ball got on the ground, and he was scorching past second, able to make the turn and get to third without even drawing a throw realistically from Rave, which is saying a lot because Rave was coming in, his momentum was coming behind him, but he knows if he throws to third, that gives a chance for Rivera to go to second. So they settle for the runners on the corner situation, and right there with Gray moving around second base, able to really create something for the Harbor Hawks here.
Pedro Pages up to bat for the Harbor Hawks. Runners on the corners, 1 out. Pitches in just low for a ball. Checked the first place umpire, but he said that he did not swing.
Page is looking to atone for an error in the first inning as well, an E3 that eventually came around to score.
Oh, pitch that is in for a strike. 2 errors in the first inning by the Harbor Hawks. An error by Pages and Rivera's throw.
Yeah, and for Hyannis, they want to minimize errors. They already have 8 this season. So it's been a bit of hit or miss in the field so far for the Harbor Hawks.
Throws back to first. He'll be safe, is Rivera.
At this point now, it actually stands 7 errors for Hyannis.
1-1 count. Pitches in. That is just foul as Pages gets the end of the bat on it.
And we talked about in the post-game coverage yesterday how the big inning has really hurt Hyannis so far this year. Well, 3 runs in only the bottom of the first, Rob. That's not the start the Harbor Hawks were looking for, especially considering their track record with those big innings really biting them at the end of games.
Absolutely. He'll throw back to first. Rivera will be safe once again. Did not have to slide this time.
Pages, though, driving in 31 runners for the Florida Atlantic Owls this year, so.
Strike 3, got him looking as Pages for the second out. And now with 2 outs, the Harbor Hawks still have men at first and third.
Well, Robert, to complete my thought, I was going to say that Pages is about as good as anybody with runners in scoring position, but regardless, look at the breaking pitch coming from Bradford, completely starting at chest level, ending at the knees, right in the outer half of the zone. Absolutely no chance for Pages to swing at that one or get his wood on it as well.
Brady Lindsley, a newly added Harbor Hawk in the game for today, number 12. Ground ball to the pitcher. He has it. He'll throw it on to first. A great play by Bradford. Be able to get that third out. The Harbor Hawks do strand 2 men. Chatham will be up in the bottom of the second. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Fans, our 50-50 raffle will be held
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's Voices of the Hawks. Chris Luke.
Now batting for Chatham.
We are back in the bottom of the second. Kyle McCann lead it off for Chatham in the bottom of the second. Harbor Hawks are down 3-0. Houston Rouse trying to get a scoreless frame here to get his boys back up to bat as they squandered a good opportunity in the top of the second, Chris.
Runners on the corners. It was a beautiful opportunity for Hyannis and just was not able to capitalize.
First pitch is in for a strike from Roth.
And it's like we were saying off air, Rob, a great play up the middle by Bradford, snaring away a base hit. You have to tip your cap to the pitcher.
And that was a catch by the left fielder, Eric Rivera.
Number 1, Austin Wilhite.
For the Harbor Hawks, Eric Rivera able to get it. Unable to see the ball down the line, but Rivera was able to get it for the first out.
They have a grandstand placed in front of us, not helping us that the sun is right there too.
Wilhite up at the bat for Chatham. We've said his name a lot today as he's made some great plays over at second.
He absolutely has. He's really flashed the leather and been an asset to the A's.
Pitch is in for a strike, now down 0-2. Roth trying to make quick work of Wilhite. 0-2 pitch. That is a foul ball. Pedro Pages attempts to get it, but it gets out of the field of play. And a bunch of kids will be running to try to get the ball.
That's the beauty of Veterans Field, wide open. Wilhite still trying to find the magic on the Cape League summer and what's a magical setting. A 143 batting average in 14 at-bats, only getting 2 base knocks.
Pitch. That is a foul ball. Still 0-2. Wilhite able to just get the tip of the bat on that ball. A brick backstop here at Veterans Field, very similar to where we play, McKeon Park. But our wall is just a little higher. 0-2 count. Ball just outside, tried to cut the corner. Rivera trying to frame it back in the strike zone. The home plate umpire did not offer. Still an 0-2 count to Wilhite. 0-2 count. Pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 at that high fastball. For the second out in the bottom of the second.
The shortstop from the University of North Carolina, Wilmington.
So after a rocky bottom of the first, the bottom of the second has really gone smoothly for Roth, which is an important bounce back for him. After allowing 3 runs in the first frame, he's able to just find his center and move on.
Greg Jones up a plate. He was up in the first. Ground ball to Davis Wenzel. He has it. He'll throw it on the first for the third out. Roth being able to come back in the second. Puts up a scoreless frame, 1-2-3 after 2. The score is 3-0 Chatham. Harbor Hawks will be up in the top of the third. We'll be right back here on the Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network. Now back to today's voices of the Hawks, Chris Lucy and Robert Marcello.
Welcome back. We are in the top of the third. Kyle Wilkie to lead off for the Harbor Hawks. Still 3-0. Chatham, if you're joining us here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network. I'm here with Chris Lucy. I'm Rob Marcello. First pitch is in for a ball just outside.
Wilkie off to a great start this summer. 3 hits and 9 at-bats. .333 batting average on the Cape League. Better than a .315 clip that he hit for down at Clemson.
Pitch is in. Just foul. Wilkie being able to get a piece of it down 0-2. Sorry, 1-1 in the count.
Digging in the bat boy, stumbling off the top step of the dugout. Able to shake it off, though. Get off in stride and get the ball back.
On 1 count. Ball in the dirt, 2-1.
Digging in a bit of a troublemaker of a bat boy, as he was a friend of the broadcast program both this year and last year.
Oh, pitch was just a ball low inside.
3-1 count now on Wilkie. Has himself a good hitter's count to work with here.
Oh, pitch. That was a fly ball to right field. Torkelson has it for the first out. Spencer Torkelson able to get that ball in the air for the first out. Only had to make a couple of steps to be able to get the ball. Wilkie, a good piece, unable to get on base.
And it makes you wonder whether or not it was worth giving that ball the swing. It was in his wheelhouse, but he wasn't able to get much on it. Could have been ball 4, but instead he has to head back to the dugout, and the Harbor Hawks losing out.
Back up to the top of the order for the Harbor Hawks. Matthew Barefoot up to bat. Pitch is in, and that is a little blooper out to center field, a fly ball. Able to get it. It was Greg Jones, the shortstop, for the second out. Center fielder had Chase on it, but Greg Jones called him off.
Pretty much Jones's ball. He's shown some good range today over at short, and it was a long run for Rave, who was playing pretty far back on Barefoot, knowing he's one of the more dangerous hitters in the Harbor Hawks order so far this summer.
Trevor Hauver up to bat with 2 quick outs in the top of the third. First pitch is in for a ball. Just low. Oh, pitch is in for a strike. Now 1-1 count for Hauver. Hauver goes to Arizona State. So does our fellow broadcaster Lyle Goldstein. They've talked on numerous occasions. Ball just low. A lot of Arizona State guys coming out to the Cape this year.
Both on the broadcast side and on the field as well. There are 2 on the field right now in Torkelson looking on from his perch out in right field.
That is a foul ball for Hauver. Hauver on the year is batting .266, 4 for 15. Bradford so far today has made quick work. Besides the top of the second, the Harbor Hawks have really been unable to touch Bradford. Pitch is just ball low.
And it's funny that they're not really able to time him up all that well, considering he's not outside of their wheelhouse really velocity-wise. He's hitting around the high 80s with his fastball, but the nasty movement he has on most of his pitches have really thrown the Harbor Hawks off a good deal.
Pitch is just foul. Goes past the broadcast booth / PA announcers kind of table. Up there, we are just below where they are.
That's the second floor of the green building right next to us down here behind home plate, where the Chatham A's broadcast team operates.
Harvard calls time as he will take just a couple of practice swings over the bat. Step back in the batter's box. Pitches in. Ball for is Harvard and a 2-out walk. Will not allow Bradford to be able to get out of this inning. 1, 2, 3.
Well, you know what they say about 2-out walks, right, Robert?
It starts
with a 2-out walk.
Absolutely.
There it is, man, like clockwork. The Harbor Hawks in business with Braden Como coming up as well. He's riding high after a great performance on the mound last night. First time he pitched in over 5 years, and he said he felt great and threw up a scoreless frame. 1, 2, 3 inning.
Great story for sure, and all the guys in the bullpen were cheering him on, and it was a good team morale kind of thing.
Absolutely it was, and you have to take your positives where you can get them in a 9-0 loss, especially to a divisional opponent.
Pitches in for a strike to Braden Como. Como goes to Rice.
A couple of Texas guys out there as you have a Baylor product on the mound and then an infielder from Rice at the plate.
And that is a ground ball. Great stop again by Bradford. Throws on to first for the 3rd out of the inning. The Harbor Hawks do not go 1, 2, 3 like they did in the first. 2-out walk, unable to move the guy over again and get any runs. Chatham will be up in the bottom of 3rd. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Welcome back in the bottom of the 3rd. John Rave to lead off for Chatham. First pitch is in for a strike. Pitch is just in low in the dirt. Pitches in for Roth. In for a strike. One, 2 count for Rave in the bottom of the 3rd. Pitches in. That will be a looper out to the gap. That will get down. The runner will not advance. And a leadoff single for Rave. We'll get the order going.
Right fielder from Arizona State University, number 20,
Spencer Torkelson. Back up the plate for the Harbor Hawks. Throws back to first was Roth. John Rave safe at first. Throws back to first again. Rave will be safe. Ball just outside. Pitch in. That is a fly ball out to right field. And unable to get it was Haver, Como, and Pages all ran for the ball. Pitches in. Swing and a miss. Throws down to second base. And he's thrown out at second. That will be the first out. A great throw by Kyle Wilkie.
How far are they? So they're 345 down the line, like 410. Yeah. So it's two. And I hear it's going to be like 330 down the line. You know, like 400 center.
Pitch in. That is just fouled back to everyone sitting behind us. Or ahead of us, sorry. But there is a net protecting both us and the fans just behind home plate. Extends all the way to the end of both dugouts is the netting.
We hit 3 balls that were caught on the warning.
Really?
Oh, pitch. That is a ball just outside. Roth does not agree with it. Thought it was going to be a sigh of relief. Two-two count here for Torkelson.
No, so I'm from Seattle.
Pitches in 2-2. Ground ball to Davis Wenzel. He has it. He'll throw it on to first for the second out in the bottom of the third.
Now batting for Chatham, the catcher from the University of Southern California, number 21, Blake Sable.
Blake Sable.
Oh, really? Oh, that's awesome.
Pitches just inside for a ball. Pitches in. That is in for a strike. Just catches the edge of the strike zone.
I think all my teachers are long.
Pitches in. Just try to put a bunt down. Did not swing. Swing and a miss. Goes back right to home plate. Caught by Wilkie. Oh, pitch. That is a foul ball. Goes right behind the press box here in Chatham. Just to the left to home plate. Right about where we are, but we're not in the booth. We're just below. Sun start going down here in Chatham. Oh, pitch. Ball in the dirt was Wilkie. Being able to catch it. Oh, pitch. Ball 4. And a 2-out walk.
The left fielder from Oklahoma State University, number 10, Colin Simpson.
Colin Simpson up to bat for Chatham. They're trying to widen their lead as they're already up 3-0. Only 1 hit for Hyannis. Chatham has 4. Hyannis does have 2 errors. Responsible for a couple of runs early in the game, but Ross kind of settled down. Pitches in for a strike. Simpson on the season is batting .125. Struggling at the plate, trying to redeem himself. The runner went off from first. Roth tried to throw over to first, but he was safe as it looked like the runner at first was going to go. Stopped just at the last second. Pitches in. Just the ball inside. To Simpson. Throws back to first. He will be safe once again. Sable, with a healthy lead over at first, has really been given no time or space. Pitches in for a strike. For Roth. 1-2 count. 2 outs, man on first. Hyannis is down 3-0. You're joining us here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Pitches, strike 3, swing and a miss. That high fastball, Roth, sitting in the late 80s to 90s. After 3 innings, the score is 3-0 Chatham. Hyannis will be up in the top of the 4th here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Welcome back in the top of the 4th.
The shortstop, number 8,
Bradford
Davis Wenzel.
back on the mound. Davis Wenzel up at plate for the Harbor Hawks. Harbor Hawks bats have been pretty silent here through 3 innings. First pitch of the inning is in for a ball. Oh, pitch. That is a foul ball. These kids will go run to catch that ball. Right behind the snack bar in Chatham. There's a little playground. Ball just inside. It's now a 2-1 count to Davis Wenzel, leading off for the Harbor Hawks in the top of the 4th. Ball just outside. 3-1 count to Wenzel, looking for a leadoff walk. Being down 3-0. Ball 4 and a leadoff walk for the Harbor Hawks.
The third baseman, number 18, Seth Gray.
Seth Gray, the heart of the Harbor Hawks order, up. The 3, 4, 5, and 6 hitters. Runner on first. Nobody out. Pitch is just low in. Oh, pitch. That is a single in between the first and second baseman. And now there are runners on first and second. Nobody out in the top of the 4th. Hyannis trying to cut down this 3-0 lead. Rivera's up to bat. Both runners are taking a healthy lead at first and second. The infield for Chatham playing a double play depth. This is the second time really today the Harbor Hawks have had a chance. This back-to-back innings they went down. It's in for the ball. 1-0 count to Rivera. Rivera and Pages, both college teammates. Bradford steps off of first. Bradford today has thrown 32 strikes and 24 balls. Thrown a lot of pitches. It is a bunt down by Rivera, and it goes foul. Rivera with his speed would have probably been safe at first. Rivera is setting the bunt. Gets the bunt down. Has the third baseman. He'll throw it on the first, but the runners do advance. Ben Ramirez able to get the ball. See, he was practically at home plate when the pitch was thrown. Pedro Pages to bat. Runners on second and third. With 1 out, a big opportunity for the Harbor Hawks. The infielders are playing back, so Pages just gets a ground ball. to the shortstop, second baseman, or first baseman. I'd probably score a run as if he hits it to the third baseman hard enough. Wenzel would probably be thrown out at home. Pitches into Pages, in for a strike. And time will be called by the home plate umpire. Sun started to go down here in Chatham. 8:03. Exact time, about an hour into this game. Oh, pitch. In for a strike. Page is now down 0-2 in the count. Oh, pitch. Strike three. Swinging a miss by Pages. Swinging at that high fastball for the second out of the inning.
The designated hitter, number 12, Brady Lindsley.
Up to bat now is Brady Lindsley. Just added Hawk. Harbor Hawk trying to make a big impact. Down 1-0 in the count. Runners on first and second. 2 out in the top of the fourth. Harbor Hawks with a big opportunity here. Just foul. Lindsay able to get the end of the bat.
Thank you.
Oh, 2 count. Oh, 2 pitch. Just tied for a ball. Just foul was Lindsley. There on a pitch low in the dirt, just getting a piece. If he did not, that would have been strike 3. And Chatham wouldn't have been out of the inning. Runners still at second and third, 2 out. Pitches in. That is a ground ball right through the middle. 1 run scores. Another run could score. It is now 3-2. Chatham, as they cut into this lead, a 2-out RBI single right up the middle for Lindsley. And a great way to start his Harbor Hawk career. His first game to be able to get 2 RBIs. And Kyle Wilkie now will be up to bat for the Harbor Hawks. First pitch is in for a foul ball. Runner on first, 2 out. Oh, pitch is in. That will be a little blooper for an out to the second baseman. Haven't heard his name in a while. Harbor Hawks do score 2 runs in the inning. It is 3-2 Chatham leading. They'll be up in the bottom of the fourth. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's Voices of the Hawks, Rob Marcello and Chris Luce.
Welcome back in the bottom of the fourth. Ross still on the mound for the Harbor Hawks going in the bottom of the fourth. After the first inning, really been able to settle down.
Yeah, he has really just been able to settle into this game and give the Hyannis Harbor Hawks a chance to get back in it. And they finally backed him up with some run support in the previous frame, a 2-run top of the fourth that has Hyannis only within a run of the A's right now.
The designated hitter from Florida State University, number 36, Drew Mendoza.
Drew Mendoza, the plate for the Chatham Anglers. Mendoza from Florida State, SEC or ACC school. Sorry. Definitely don't want to get that confused. A lot of Florida Gators people will not be happy with that big rivalry.
Absolutely.
All just outside. Roth trying to contain this Chatham team as they're probably not too happy that they let up 2 runs in the top of the fourth and try to get a couple more runs, being able to widen their lead.
They don't want to let the Harbor Hawks back in. Hyannis swept the A's in 4 games last season, and the A's were able to start off this season series with a win.
Pitch is in for a ball high. Now 2-1 count.
That win for the A's as dominant as they come too. A 10-1 drubbing right here at Veterans Field.
Pitch is in for a foul ball. Mendoza just getting the end of the bat.
Nice piece to stay alive there from Mendoza.
Two count. Pitch from Roth. Ball in the dirt. Wilkie unable to get it. Luckily, no runners were on base to advance as the bases are empty here in the bottom of the fourth. Pitches in. That is a roper out to center field. Comes on to Barefoot to get it. And for the first out in the bottom of the fourth.
The third baseman from the University of Southern California.
Mendoza hit that one a country mile. The former MLB draft pick of the Detroit Tigers back in 2016 really scorched that one, but Barefoot was able to keep his eye on it, and despite the low lights here at the Chatham ballpark, able to haul it in over the shoulder. Made it look easy, but that was not an easy catch to make whatsoever.
And Ramirez up to bat for Chatham, and that will be ball 1.
Ramirez 0 for 1 on the day, still looking for his first knock of the night.
1 out in the bottom of the 4th. That's in for a strike. 1-1 count. Right down the heart of the plate. Ramirez is batting .307 on the season. No home runs, but 4 RBIs.
8 hits.
Then for a ball. 2-1.
He's played in all 9
Down
games
there.
for the A's so far this year, one of only 4 position players to do so.
Oh, pitch. Foul ball. Just gets the end of the bat. Bounces off of Wilkie. But he'll be all right. Throws back to the pitcher and Roth. Hyannis today in the road blues with orange writing. Chatham in their white pinstripes with blue numbering. That is a little blooper to the third baseman. Unable to get it with Seth Gray as he dove and fouled toward to be able to get it. Just kind of caught the end of the bat. Gray unable to make the amazing play.
Pat Burns, the third base umpire, drew the ire of the crowd there, calling that ball foul, as a lot of the fans thought it kicked fair off the glove of Gray. Now Ramirez is running down the left field line. Dropped his bat on that swing. Had to go out there all the way and grab it. I need a little bit more pine tar on his lumber.
Oh, pitch is just inside for a ball. Almost caught the outer half of the plate. Home plate umpire did not think so. Oh, pitch from Roth. Just foul, and the bat went with it.
And now he sends the bat down the first base line. Look out. We might definitely need a little bit more pine tar on that thing. The bat flying left, right, and out comes the pine tar from the on-deck circle. Kyle McCann throwing him a little something. He only
Pretty
gets a bit
scary
on
for
it.
the fans. You usually don't see a bat flying in back of you.
How about for the bat kids as well? That bat actually got around the L screen they're sitting behind and almost hit them too. Coach Gassman, the Harbor Hawks head coach, able to get out in time though and make sure they're okay.
Pitch was in. Just foul, but the bat did not go with it.
No, he was able to hold on to that one. Still foul ball though.
Imagine that. 2 straight pitches and the bat goes with you. You don't really see that in baseball. Usually after one, they get the point.
Usually, but hey, summer baseball, it's a different animal.
Pitch is a foul once again. Goes behind us, hits the trees, and will land about 20 yards from us, behind us.
Ramirez doing a great job of staying alive. Already has 6 strikeouts on the Cape League season, so not looking to put up number 7.
Pitch is just foul. Landed in the field of play. Just beyond the catcher, Wilkie. But hit off his foot.
And this is a crucial at bat for Roth right here, as his pitch count is going to be up at this point. Bottom of the 4th inning, only went 4 innings in his first outing. He's getting around to where he ends. He needs to lock this down.
Oh, pitch. That is foul. And hits one of the speakers. Behind us here. We've seen a lot of weird things in this bat, uncharacteristic.
Absolutely not. And it has been, absolutely, I should say, it's been a bit of an odd one, to say the least.
Pitches in Roth. Just outside for ball 4 and a great at bat for Ramirez. Roth showing his disappointment.
For Chatham, the first baseman from Georgia Tech, number 7, Kyle McCann.
Kyle McCann up to bat for Chatham. 1 out in the bottom of the 4th.
McGann 0 for 1 on the day. Looking to try and push the Harbor Hawks away, who came up within a run in the previous inning.
Pitch is in. Ball just low, gets past Wilkie, and will be standing up at second base as Ben Ramirez with a pass ball.
This is where Roth, again, really has to bear down. When the control starts to leave you, the arm gets tired. It's colder out here right now, probably dipping into about the low 60s or the mid 60s as we speak. Not quite what you play baseball in Mississippi.
Pitch is in for a strike. Roth getting that pitch. Hasn't been really getting a lot today. A very strict strike zone for both sides for the home plate umpire. This game merrily goes along. Runner on second. Ball just low. Two-one count. Pitch by Roth is in. That is a fly ball out to left center field. Rivera has it for the second out. He will throw it to Wenzel, the cutoff man. And sliding in at third is Rivera. Two gone in the bottom of the fourth.
Great throw in from the left fielder, Rivera. One hopping Wenzel from way back in left field, almost at the warning track, right to Wenzel's position, just at the lip of the outfield grass down at shortstop. So a good bit of air under that throw, a good bit of zip too, but Rivera not able to get the runner as he advanced to third.
Ball just low. To Whitehide.
Wilhite looking for his first hit of the evening as well.
Wilhite making some great plays over at second. Really haven't heard much from him since. Doucette has not had a hit yet today. He's also only batting 142.
Well, a hit right now would be just what the doctor ordered and would put Chatham's lead out to 4-2. They only have a 3-2 edge after the two-run frame by the Harbor Hawks.
Pitch is in for a strike, just catches the top of the zone.
Top of the fourth is exactly what the Harbor Hawks needed to get themselves back into this game, and now Roth just needs to lock it down.
Pitch is a swing and a miss. Strike two.
Count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. This is where Roth really needs to attack.
Absolutely. Strike three. Got him looking. A great pitch by Houston Roth. Being able to get out of a jam. It is 3-2. Chatham after 4 innings. The Harbor Hawks will be up in the top of the fifth. We will be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
The Anglers would like to recognize the father of John Ray, Mike Ray.
Magic Works Media copyright.
Javara's family is also here. Father.
Hi, everybody. Lyle Goldstein here, one of the Hyannis Harbor Hawks broadcasters, here to bring you your Around the League update. At Red Wilson Field in Yarmouth, the YD Red Sox have downed the Katuitt Kettleers by a final score of 6-1. That was highlighted by a long ball from Stanford product Andrew Doshback. At Durham Park, the Wareham, Gateman, and Bourne Braves knotted up at 3 in the 8th inning. Wareham on its heels here, looking to pick up its 8th win of the season, but the Bourne Braves giving them all they can handle. Out at Eldridge Park in Orleans, the Firebirds up 3-0 on the Whitecaps. Brewster has just 1 hit through the first 6 innings. And over at White House Field in Harwich, the Mariners are up 2-0 on the Falmouth Commodores. That'll do it for me here on your Around the League update. Catch me after the game on the post-game show, and we'll be back quickly with the broadcast here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright.
Welcome back in the top of the fifth. A new pitcher for Chatham, Troy Miller.
Familiar face for these Harbor Hawks. He started against Hyannis, and the last time the Harbor Hawks were in Veterans Field through 4 innings, only walked 1, struck out 6, only allowed 1 run that was unearned.
Pitches in for a strike to the 9-hole hitter for the Harbor Hawks, and Kyle Wilkie.
That was his last appearance of the season as well, so he's just been a Harbor Hawks specialist so far.
Apologize, Matthew Barefoot is up to bat. He's a leadoff hitter for the Harbor Hawks, as Wilkie got the last out in the top of the fourth. Pitch is just foul on the first base side. Barefoot on the season is batting .333. 0 for 2 on the day, though.
Miller coming into the Cape off of an outstanding season at Michigan. 19 appearances, 3.37 ERA, and 2 games started.
That is a ground ball to the shortstop. He is unable to get it. And the leadoff man on for the Harbor Hawks in the top of the fifth. Down only 1 run as they cut down the lead to 3-2 in the top of the fourth with a 2-out
number 17, Trevor Hopper.
base hit by Brady Lindsley. Now up is Trevor Hopper.
Hopper 0 for 1 with a walk today, looking to advance the runner on first.
First pitch is in for a strike. Mid inside, almost on his hands, was Hopper.
Hopper, one of only 3 Harbor Hawks with a home run on the Cape League season.
Pitches in swing and a miss by Hopper.
A deep drive right now would go a long way for the Harbor Hawks in more ways than one, considering that it would bring this game to a 3-3 tie. And Barefoot is very fleet of foot. He stole 30 bases for Campbell this year.
Full pitch. That is a foul ball. Lands just over us here in Chatham.
The Anglers home broadcast booth under attack tonight. Bats, foul balls, pretty much everything. And I'm talking baseball bats, not not the type of bats you'd expect on a cold night out here on the Cape.
Pitch is just outside. Hopper did not offer. Miller, as you said, Chris, pitched very well. Pitched 4 innings so far in the summer, has 6 strikeouts, no ERA. Oh, pitch. That is a ground ball, just foul. McCann almost able to get it as he's hugging the line over at first. 8:27 p.m. Here, this game is somewhat on schedule.
Off to a leisurely pace, but it's been a good one between these two clubs. No complaints here.
Very low-scoring game at 3-2. Just foul. Hopper hits it off the brick backstop here in Chatham. As I said, just very similar to McKeon Park. Have a brick backstop, but ours is a little higher.
The bricks also jut out a little bit more than the ones here in Chatham, so you'll get some crazy hops.
Pitch is strike three, swing and a miss by Hoover for the first out in the top of the fifth.
Well, after an E6 to start off the top of the fifth, there's some reprieve right there for Miller getting that strikeout of Hoover. Would be a different situation for Como if that first error hadn't occurred, but regardless, only one man down. That runner on first is a very fleet of foot Barefoot, who hasn't really taken much of a lead off of first, as Hyannis is really just holding their base runners close to their chest right now, trying to advance them with the ball.
Braden Como up to bat. That first pitch will get past the catcher. And there'll be a runner in scoring position for the Harbor Hawks. Down one in the top of the fifth. 3-2 Chatham.
Big mistake right there for Miller, putting a baseball in the dirt and then allowing Barefoot to just get second base for free. That changed the approach for Como as well. He was squaring up for a bunt. We'll see if he does that again.
Pitches in. Almost hits Como, but gets out of the way.
Barefoot's advance over to second scored officially a wild pitch.
Just past the catcher, but the runner did not advance.
Sable counting his blessings. That one went down the third baseline off of his right shoulder protector as Barefoot twitched off that bag, but had the ball moving in Sable's favor and was not about to test the arm of the USC catcher.
Como with a great opportunity here, pitched last night in a rare pitching performance by him. Pitch is just inside for a strike. Como in the year batting .300 with 2 RBIs, 6 for 20. Has yet to face Miller so far this season. Oh, pitch. That is ball 4. And runners on first and second.
This is number 8, Davis Wenzel.
Davis Wenzel up the bat for Hyannis.
And that was good on Matthew Barefoot right there, completely drawing Troy Miller's attention away from the plate as he had already come to the set. He knew he couldn't throw back unless he moved around and completely pivoted. So he had a lot going through his mind as he was trying to deliver a pitch to Como on a 3-ball count, and he completely missed his target, ball 4, and now there's runners on first and second for Davis Wenzel.
First pitch is just inside for ball, almost hits Wenzel. Miller a little shaky coming out of the pen in the top of the fifth.
It's not quite his first start, like his first start against the Harbor Hawks, but Hyannis will take it as they try and chip away at a 3-2 A's lead here in the top of the fifth inning.
Pitch is just high for a ball. As now Sable and Miller will meet out in the pitcher's mound to try to figure out their game plan.
Well, it's about time, as Sable really has just been worked behind home plate as Miller has tried to find his way around the zone. He's thrown 2 wild pitches that have allowed Harbor Hawks to advance runners, and now Miller is getting set to throw again, and Wenzel, with all the time in the world, 2-ball count in his favor, he's swinging away.
Oh, pitch. Ball 3. It's a 3-0 count to Wenzel. And the Harbor Hawks really have something brewing in this inning halfway through this game.
Only down 3-2 as well. This could be a critical junction for Hyannis.
3-0 pitch. A get me over fastball has to count now to 3-1.
No chance Wenzel is swinging at that, knowing what the stakes are. Only 1 down, runners on first and second. 3-0 pitch right down Broadway, and he still doesn't swing through.
3-1 pitch. Just foul off as Wenzel getting the tip of his bat on it. Goes behind home plate. Runs the count now full of 3-2. Runner on first and second, 1 out in the top of the 5th. Chatham is up 3-2. For joining us here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. 3-2 pitch. Ball just low, and now the bases will be loaded with 1 out. And the Harbor Hawks could tie this game and potentially take the lead.
Well, they've got the man up for the job to do it in Seth Gray. Hits in 4 of his previous 8 at-bats. He is on a hot streak, to say the least, after getting 3 knocks in the previous game.
Gray up to bat. The power of the Harbor Hawks lineup. Lot out tonight. He supplied much of the power early this season. Gray starting to come on a little bit. He has 3 RBIs so far this year. Batting .388. 1 for 1 today.
Now Sable has to adjust his catcher's gear behind home. Looks like something went awry with one of the knee pads he has on. So he's just getting that straightened out. And Robert, this is a crucial game for Hyannis as they look to try and stay in playoff contention. I mean, early on in the season to say that, yes, but still they're in 4th place right now, and every game, every point counts for the Harbor Hawks as the Wareham Gatemen were able to edge Hyannis by only a couple of points to get into the playoffs ahead of the Harbor Hawks last year, snapping a 4-year playoff streak for Hyannis that had began in 2012.
First pitch, just outside for a ball. Runners on all bases. The bases are loaded with 1 out. Hyannis has 3 hits to Chatham's 4. Hyannis, though, has 2 errors on the day. All happened in the first inning when Chatham scored all 3 of their runs. Just outside for a ball. Home plate umpire on either side today. Pitches in. Called for a strike in pretty much the same spot.
Another get-me-over fastball right there, Robert, but comes on a 2-0 count when you have the bases loaded. Miller is in a jam for the A's.
Pitches in. Just fouled back.
Gray needs to lock in here.
Count 2-2. Pitches in. A liner out to center field. Center fielder has it. He'll catch a run, does score. And the score is now tied 3-3. Hyannis being able to come back. And runners in the corners with 2 outs.
Matthew Barefoot, the runner, coming in to score for Hyannis, and Braden Como hustling into third, getting into third, head first slide just in front of the throw from the center fielder, Rave, who had to track himself all the way back to the 385 mark in dead center field to snare that ball, the deepest part of Veterans Field, probably keeping that ball in the yard. And Hyannis able to tie this up at 3-3 here in the top of the 5th inning with 2 outs.
Rivera up to bat. Runners on the corners, 2 outs in the top of the 5th. Pitches in. Just high for a ball. Rivera in a big spot with a single, being able to take the lead. And a crucial game early in the season, as Chris said, in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Ball is just high as the curveball, unable to sneak back down in the strike zone.
Rivera, no stranger to clutch hitting out here on the Cape. As we mentioned, a walk-off hit in the game against Brewster.
Pitch is in for a strike. just inside, right on Rivera's hands. Rivera on the year is 142, but has 3 RBIs, one of them coming in the game winner in the doubleheader. Pitch is a fly ball into right field. He has it for the 3rd out. Rivera unable to get the runner in. The Harbor Hawks do tie it, though, at 3-3. We'll be right back for the bottom of the 5th here in the Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright.
The Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's Voices of the Hawks, Rob Marcello and Chris Lucy.
Back here at Veterans Field in Chatham, game number 9 of the Hyannis Harbor Hawks season. And we're locked in a good one, 3-3, as we now head into the bottom of the 5th inning. Top of the order due up for the A's, and the night is done for Houston Roth. The starting pitcher for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks finishes up his line at 4 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 3 strikeouts, 18 batters faced. And now he faces off, or now he's off the mound, excuse me, and up in his stead is Adam Elliott, the two-way man out of Louisville, as fog rolls over the outfield here in Chatham. 3 games pitched on the season for Elliott, 3 2/3 innings pitched, yet to allow an earned run, 4 strikeouts and 1 walk. And here's Greg Jones, the leadoff hitter for the A's. And the lefty deals to the righty at the plate. A called strike 1 on the fastball outside corner. 0-1 the count now on tonight's shortstop out of UNC Wilmington via 1. Cut on, sent high and foul down the right field line into the night sky, well out of play.
Roth pitched very well after the first inning, got in a struggle, kind of got into a stranglehold. After that, pitched very well. Didn't let up any more runs.
3 runs on the night, only 2 earned. And now the 0-2 just gets away from Kyle Wilkie behind home plate. Goes off of his left knee protector, but no harm, no foul. Nobody on the bases. Infield straight away. Outfield likewise. Hyannis and Chatham knotted at 3 runs apiece here in the bottom of the 5th. And now the 1-2.
They definitely were not kidding about this fog here rolling in.
No, and there's ball 2 high and outside on the pitch from Elliott. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes to Greg Jones, former draft pick of the Baltimore Orioles. And the 2-2 is sent high and foul down the right field line. 0-2 the count, or not 0-2, but the count remains 2-2. He was taken in 2017, the 17th round. Jones, the 2-2. Bouncer from Elliott, and that loads up the count. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And we're sitting here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Hyannis and Chatham knotted at 3, and now the payoff pitch from Elliott. High and outside, ball 4. The fastball rolling just a little bit late out of his hands, and Greg Jones reaches to start the bottom of the fifth with a walk. And here comes John Rave, the number 2 hitter. 2 for 2 on the night with a home run and a single. That was a solo shot in the bottom of the first. Got Chatham off to a great start. They put up 3 in that inning. And now the fog pouring in over the outfield with a runner on first. Coming in from behind home plate now as well, as if it's coming out of a smoke machine on a Hollywood movie set. It has seemingly come in from nowhere. Several ponds and beaches near Veterans Field here, usually the source of the fog, and it has really just changed the complexion of this game completely. As John Rave steps up to the left-hand side of the plate against the lefty Elliott. Greg Jones had a leadoff walk here in the bottom of the fifth. He takes a lead off of first, held on by Pages. And the first pitch is an attempted bunt, flipped foul just behind home off the bat of the junior from Illinois State. Joe Peters, the home plate umpire, signaling over to Tom Holliday, the manager for the Chatham A's. And now Ron Polk is coming out of the dugout for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks to have a word with Adam Elliott. And this game, Robert, has just gotten a little bit confusing, as a game that was chugging along quite nicely earlier, a 3-3 tie, as exciting as it can get out here in Cape Cod, all of a sudden fog has rolled in and has everyone at a loss for what to do.
Definitely does, is right now the outfield's really starting to get covered. We can still see it pretty well here.
No, low lights here at Chatham, so it's cutting through the fog about as well as it can, but you see Barefoot and Hoover meeting out in left center field. Hoover just putting his hands up as if he doesn't know what's going on. He plays baseball out in Arizona. They don't have fog like this in Tempe the last time I checked.
Definitely don't.
A classic summer scene here in Chatham. Runner on first base, Jones. Fog pouring onto the field here at Veterans Field. John Rave at the dish with an 0-1 count. Lefty Elliott kicks and deals. A pitch that's in on his hand, clubbed over to third base. Seth Gray throws on to second. Relay from first. And they get the 5-4-3 double play to get the first 2 outs at the bottom of the fifth, all off one swing of the bat from John Rave.
From Arizona State University, number 20, Spencer.
A great turn there by Gray, being able to throw it on to second. Still being able to see this Como, being able to make the throw over with the fog.
And now Spencer Torkelson will come up to the right-hand side of the plate. Second in the league in home runs with 4. First in RBIs with 11. Lefty Elliott kicks and fires. Ball 1 high and outside to Torkelson. Wields an old hickory bat over his back shoulder. And now the 1-0. Swing and a miss at a breaking pitch. Strike 2. Adam Elliott actually even counted a ball and a strike, pardon me. Fog still billowing from above here in Chatham as the 1-1 bounces over home plate. Now 2-1 the count to Elliott.
As each pitch goes by, you're less seeing the outfielders.
The 2-1. Hacked on and sent into the netting behind home plate. Count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And imagine it from the outfielder's perspective,
Absolutely.
Rob, as they're trying to keep their eye on the ball. And as every pitch goes by, they see the infield less and less.
Absolutely.
Elliott now trying to keep his eye on his catcher, Kyle Wilkie. The Louisville left-hander fires the 2-2 pitch high and outside for ball 3. So that's a full count. 3 balls and 2 strikes. As we could formerly see the hill beyond the outfield fence. Now the payoff pitch. Cut on and hit out into a foggy night sky in the left center field gap for a base hit. Torkelson turns around first. He goes into second. Relay throw in from Hoover in right center field. Not in time. Torkelson into second base, standing with a 2-out double in the bottom of the fifth. Hyannis and Chatham still knotted at 3 as things stand here in the bottom of the fifth. But if that double play off the bat of John Rave had not come to pass before the double from Torkelson, this game would have been broken wide open most likely, as that ball I even lost it in the fog for a minute. I can't even
Absolutely.
speak for the outfielders in Barefoot and Hopper who had to find that out of nowhere, but it looked like there was even a hole of clean air left as the ball just whooshed right through the fog. And now Blake Sable up to the plate, the catcher tonight. 0 for 1 with a walk. He reached on an E3 and scored in the bottom of the first. He's at the left-hand side of the plate against the left-hander Elliott, who calls time and has his catcher Kyle Wilkie come out for a word. As Chad Gassman will now come out of the dugout for a word with the home plate umpire Joe Peters, likely protesting that this game's going on amongst so much fog. They only have a brief exchange. Chad Gassman speaking over his shoulder to Peters as he heads back to the dugout now. Sable digging in with a runner on second, and Sable with a 2-out double. Infield now at double play depth. And the first pitch to Sable, a strike over the outside corner. Nifty little breaking ball there. 0-1 the count now to the junior out of USC. Looking to break a 3-3 tie with a runner in scoring position. And the 0-1 sails outside of the zone and low. Wilkie blocking it. Ball one. Sable from a Pac-12 family, to say the least. His brother Stefan played at Oregon and then played a couple of years for the New York Mets system. He was drafted twice by the Braves in 2010 and the Mets in 2012. And now the 1-1 pitch. Called a ball is the fastball low and away. Count now 2-1. Slashed pretty well in 454 MILB games, did Stefan. 225, 326, 358. Not bad. Called it a career after only a couple seasons. As the 2-1 is hacked on and missed for strike two. So Elliott picked an interesting time to join us here.
Sure did, as the fog rolls in.
Exactly. It all started coming in, just pouring out of nowhere when he got out on the mound. Led up a 2-out double, but now he's a strike away from ending a threat here in the bottom of the fifth as the lefty kicks and fires. Called strike three right over the inside corner. Blake Sable stands up in disbelief and now walks back to the Chatham A's dugout with his bat in his right arm. And now Hyannis goes to the top of the sixth inning. Pedro Pages, Brady Lindsley, and Kyle Wilkie 2 up. The 7, 8, and 9 hitters in the Harbor Hawks order when we get back, trying to break a 3-3 tie here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. We'll bring you back to the booth, but first, it's down to the sidelines with Danny Terzer.
The bullpen has been quite an asset for the Harbor Hawks thus far this season, but Coach Gassman is looking for a little more from his starting pitchers. We've only seen one starter so far play through 5 innings, and that was Mike Machma against Harwich back on the 14th. Roth pitched tonight the first 4 innings, giving up 3 runs all in the first. Coach said in an attempt to save the bullpen, he's really wanting the starters to do as Machma did and last a little longer out there on the mound. He said 5 innings is his target for these guys.
Thank you so much, Danny. Back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. And we're in a bit of a situation here, Rob. 3-3 the score through 5.5 innings, or now through 5 innings, but this game has reached an impasse because of fog that rolled in just as the bottom of the 5th was getting going. And now, in classic Chatham A's fashion, this is really the only Cape League park that'll have fog delays, but we're in the midst of a fog delay.
We definitely are. This is something you usually don't see. I remember coming here as a young kid and actually experiencing this fog come rolling in. Not as bad as this, but this is definitely interesting to grasp as you see the hill beyond us in right field. At first, unable to see it. Now it's starting to get a little clearer. Hopefully, they're able to play the rest of this game because this is a very good game early in the season.
Spencer Torkelson had a 2-out double in the bottom of the 5th. And as he hit the double, I bet he probably lost sight of the ball off of his bat because it went into the left center field gap. And even I couldn't see it. And let alone Barefoot and Hover, the right fielder and center fielder had to charge in and figure out who was going to get the ball. Maybe it was who ended up seeing it first. But Rob, now Tom Holliday having a word with the home plate umpire, and the entire crew assembled over down the third base line. Officially 5 innings through this game, but still knotted up in a tie. We're going to take a quick break here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network while we find our way through this situation, but stick around. We'll keep you updated. You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Knotted at 3 with Chatham going into the top of the 6th, but knotted in a fog delay.
Magic Works Media copyright. 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 Magic Works Media copyright.
Thank you for bearing with us here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Chris Lucy, your second half play-by-play man, coming to you live right now. My partner Robert Marcello still downfield side trying to discern what's going on. We have a conference still out down the third base line between Joe Peters, the home plate umpire, Pat Burns, and Mike Rabideau, as well as Tom Holliday, the manager for the Chatham A's. Looks like they're trying to wait this one out here from Veterans Park, so I'll step aside for now. Stick with us. It's only the top of the sixth inning, and we'll bring you the rest of this action as it comes here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. 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 Magic Works Media copyright.
Briefly back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. For those of you who have stuck around with us, thank you for doing so. Still mired in a fog delay here at Veterans Field. Harbor Hawks and the Chatham Anglers knotted at 3 apiece going into the top of the 6th inning when fog just poured in out of nowhere. Several members of the A's front office now on the field as well. Ball players keeping themselves entertained with games of 2-ball out in the bullpens. A little bit of hacky sack as well. Today's pitchers throwing to stay loose as umpires and fans, players alike, try to wait this thing out. Troy Miller still on the bump for the A's. Adam Elliott newly in for the Harbor Hawks. He pitched to the bottom of the 5th inning. We'll take you around the league while we have the opportunity here. Harwich winning 4-1 over the Falmouth Commodores down at White House Field. That game starting at 6:30. Wrapping up in only a little bit more than 2 hours. Saw a couple of Harwich Mariners jumping out of their cars down the left field line, of Chatham, coming to watch this game, which might not be a game anymore. Final scores to report elsewhere as well. The Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox taking down the Cotulla Cavaliers 6-1, a big one for the Harbor Hawks there, as the Bourne Braves were able to win. Now they go into a two-way tie for second place in the Western Division, with the Harbor Hawks still sitting in fourth as it stands right now. And the Commodores falling again, staying at 4 points. The Harbor Hawks maintain a pretty healthy lead over Falmouth to stay in the last playoff spot in the Western Division. So that's what we have for you around the league right now. Also, another final score in only 2 hours down at Eldridge Park. The Orleans Firebirds taking care of business, beating the Brewster Whitecaps 3-0. Orleans in fifth place down in the Eastern Division with only 4 points. The win for Harwich, big, as right now they bump up to 12 points. But if Chatham is only able to manage a tie with Hyannis, it would be their second tie of the season. And then that would edge them up to 11 points, or not to 11 points, up to 12 points from 11 points. And then the A's leave happy, maybe not as happy as they would with a win, but at least they stay in first place if this game goes down as a tie, which it would as of now, considering that we're through 5 innings here in the Cape Cod Collegiate Baseball League, and 5 innings constitutes a legitimate completed game. So more to come here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Still in a fog delay out here in Chatham, but baseball hopefully resuming soon on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Hyannis and Chatham still knotted at 3.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's Voices of the Hawks, Rob Marcello and Chris Lucy.
Back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network, it's official. Rob, this game ending in a 3-3 tie after a fog delay takes effect in the top of the 6th inning and essentially holds this game until the home plate umpire, Joe Peters, completely called it off. Both teams in a handshake line down the first base line in front of home plate as well now as it extends. And Robert, considering that last night was a 9-0 drubbing for the Harbor Hawks, tonight really is a step up.
Absolutely. I think one of the things we really saw was the fight in the Harbor Hawks being down 3-0 already. We saw the past 2 nights the bats kind of going dead, them being able to tie the game at 3-3. Unfortunately, this game ends in a tie because of the delay, but the Harbor Hawks could have won this game if they kept going.
Absolutely, they could have. It all got started in the bottom of the first inning for the Anglers. They were able to plate 3 runs, starting with that home run from John Rave, and it looked like Houston Roth was going to maybe flame out quickly, but he actually stayed in the game, pitched 4 innings, only gave up 2 earned runs, 3 runs on the day, but only 2 of them were earned based off the error that Blake Sable reached on. And Rob, what was it about Houston Roth, you think, that enabled him to bounce back after getting off to a rocky start?
I think it really all came down to mental toughness for him. You know, I think in his first start, he pitched very well. Unfortunately, here today, got a little discouraged, but being able to get back in kind of the groove and being able to throw strikes, I think really helped him out.
The pitcher out of Ole Miss, able to bear down after that rocky first inning and then pitch 3 more gems for the Harbor Hawks, which is important as Hyannis was trying to save the bullpen. Adam Elliott coming in, throwing a nice inning as well after Hyannis was able to get things back in motion with 2 runs in the top of the 4th inning off of some clutch hitting from Seth Gray, as well as a 2 RBI single from Brady Lindsley in his Hyannis Harbor Hawks debut. I mean, you can't get much better than that in your first game with the club, can you, Rob?
Absolutely. That was a huge 2-out single right up the middle, be able to kind of tie the game and be able to put up 2 runs, huge runs there, was the reason why they tied.
Absolutely. Brady Lindsley, I think safe to say, off of that performance, your Hyannis Harbor Hawks player of the game. He was absolutely exceptional today in his first game with the Harbor Hawks, and then another run in the top of the 5th inning coming off the sacrifice fly, or not off the sacrifice fly, excuse me, or so much from Seth Gray, but in the top of the 5th inning, Hyannis able to bring a run across the plate. Matthew Barefoot got on with an E6, but came around to score. It was a sacrifice fly from Seth Gray that he was actually able to score upon. Excuse me for the stumble earlier. And Seth Gray continuing a hot streak. He really has been an important bright spot for the Harbor Hawks.
Definitely has. With the power that he definitely has, I think he's going to start hitting a lot more home runs in very short order. He's got a good hold of a couple of them and almost have gone out, with that huge RBI sacrifice fly. It looked like it was going to be out with a grand slam, and the Harbor Hawks were going to be able to take the lead.
Hyannis, unfortunately, ending this game in a 3-3 tie with the Chatham A's here in Chatham at Veterans Field. It was looking good for the Harbor Hawks, but fog came in, one form of liquid, I suppose, in the weather, coming in and just completely throwing this game out of whack and into a delay that lasted for about a half an hour. And unfortunately for Hyannis, just washed out a game that really could have been an important boost for them. They sit in 4th place right now with 8 points, and Bourne was able to pull out a win tonight. They jumped up into a tie with the Katuitt Kettleers at 12. Tied for 2nd now in the West are those 2, and Hyannis could have jumped into a clear hold of 3rd place with a win tonight. But regardless, they stay in 4th place above Falmouth. Still in the last playoff spot in the Western Division, but still outside of that top 3, whereas Chatham actually, because of the win for Harwich, that bumped them up to 12 points. The Anglers able to take 1 point from this tie and stay atop the Eastern Division standings at 12 points. And Rob, we'll wrap it up right now here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks post-game show. A 3-3 tie here from Veterans Field. The Harbor Hawks have to face the Falmouth Commodores tomorrow, last place in the Western Division standings. What can they take from this game to ensure that they have a big comeback, or not so much a comeback win, but that they get themselves back on the winning track, not on the tying track, but the winning track against the Commodores tomorrow?
I think one of the things is really when you think about, especially with this game only going 5 innings, you think about some of these guys are going to be able to get some rest tonight. And I think that's kind of something, obviously there's never a bright spot in tying a game, or there's never a bright spot in, almost winning or losing a game. But I think it's important for them tomorrow to be able to come back with the understanding that you are playing a full 9 games and you have to be ready to go.
Well, a fog delay ends this one, essentially a fog out from Veterans Field here in game number 9 on the season for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. They now stand at 4-4-1. Chatham at 5-3-2. They're used to this thing out here at Veterans Field. This fog rolling in and ending this game in a 3-3 deadlock between Hyannis and Chatham. Signing off on behalf of my broadcast partner, Rob Marcello, our sideline reporter, Danny Terzer, I'm Chris Lucy. Thank you for joining us tonight, and be sure to catch us tomorrow here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. The Commodores take on the Harbor Hawks from McKeon Park at 6 p.m., and we'll see you then and there on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Until then, have a great night.